All right, everyone, we are so happy to have with us Ian Bunbury and guess who's with him? Henry from Superpower Dogs. We've got the star right here. What a great looking dog. And Ian, you have a very interesting story. Ian's coming to us from a vacation home in Vancouver. Typically, he's working the ski slopes a little bit farther to the northwest in Whistler, British Columbia. And I'm so delighted to have both of you on this call today, especially Henry, whose face is synonymous with this fantastic film at IMAX, Superpower Dogs. So tell me a little bit about your family history, because you know, your family roots go back quite a ways.
Yeah, as Tom was mentioning there, we've sort of done this reverse migration. I actually grew up in North Vancouver and did the ski bum thing for a number of years until I found a career in coaching alpine ski racing. And I did that for about 10 years. And then one year, the team that I was working for is just basically disbanded just before the season was about to start. And I thought, wow, you know, what am I going to do now? And because I'd been skiing there all my life, I was friends with the ski patrollers and all that stuff. My dad had been involved with a search and rescue group called the North Shore Rescue, where he came in contact with a guy who was handling a search and rescue dog. So my dad got into it when I was about 10 years of age. I thought, wow, you know, this could be my opportunity to get into search and rescue dogs. And first question I asked my boss when I eventually got the job as a ski patroller. First question I asked him at the interview was, can I be in the dog program? He said, no. Okay, you know, wait your turn. So I did. I had to wait about 5 years, during which time I was sort of observing all the other handlers and the dogs that they had and all that stuff. And because I had already had some experience, some early experience hanging around this other guy with his search and rescue dog, I sort of, you know, had a feeling for the intuitive things about handling dogs, you know, dominance, submission, body language, tone of voice, you know, how you carry yourself and all the rest of that stuff. So like I said, I was watching the other guys and the dogs that they had. And so when finally, you know, enough people left the program that made space for me, by that time I had decided, and the dog that we had when I was a child was a German Shepherd. I love that breed, but it just wasn't going to be a fit for me. You know, they're big dogs. It's hard to get a really good one these days. They've had so much.
Very smart dogs, so.
Yeah, super smart. But they've had so much done to them genetically, you know, all their hip issues that you hear about them and stuff like that. And because I'm quite an active person with skiing, trail running, mountain biking, I just knew that a German Shepherd wasn't the breed for me. A friend of mine who was on the patrol, she was working with her first dog. This was back in 1991, 92. She had a border collie. And she went away for a couple of weeks and said, hey, would you look after my dog for me? So I said, yeah, I'd be happy to. And that's where I first, you know, learned the wonders of the border collie. They're just so active and, you know, they're mechanically sound. I mean, these dogs are built, they're bred to work all day, you know, herding sheep. And you can take those things and sort of adapt them. And that's the beauty of the border collie, is as long as you know, give them some sort of work to do, some meaningful work.
Give them a job.
Give them a job. Yeah, and if you don't give them a job, they'll make one for themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
When did Daniel Ferguson and the folks at Cosmic Pictures approach you about Superpower Dogs? How did that happen?
I first got involved with these guys in 2014 when they made their first stop on a round the world tour. That one of the producers, so when they finished their previous project, it was a film called Jerusalem. One of the producers had an idea for, hey, I've got an idea for a film about dogs. And the other two guys were a little bit skeptical. He goes, no, just bear with me. I'm going to take you guys on a trip and I'm going to show you what I mean. And the first place that they came to was Whistler, where CARDA, the Canadian Avalanche Rescue Dog Association, was holding one of their training courses. And that's where I first met Daniel and the production team. They just brought a small crew there just to film some, you know, proof of concept stuff. And actually at the time, Henry was only 2 years old. He was a bit young for I mean, we were in the program, but we weren't a validated team at the time. So we weren't part of the course. But they saw Henry, they saw me, and sort of met and, you know, had an idea what they wanted to. And that was in probably January of 2014. Well, in September 2014, I got a phone call out of the blue. Hey, remember us? We're the guys from that film that was shooting. I, yeah, I do remember it. Well, we have this idea for a film and we want your dog to be in it. We want him to, you know, be some other person's dog. And at the time, it was just total concept stuff, right? They didn't really have anything written down like that. They sort of had ideas. And I went, yeah, that sounds great. You know, when you guys are, you know, ready to get into production, let me know. So skip forward 3 years. So I didn't hear a word from them, knew nothing about it. 3 years later, in 2017, September 2017, I get a phone call. Hey, you remember us? We're the people. I said, yeah, I remember. Are you still interested? Absolutely, I'm interested. So then they came to Whistler in December 2017. It was again a small crew. We met and they looked at Henry and went, yeah, this is the dog that we would like to have in the film. And the rest, as they say, is history.
What was it like filming? Because, you know, Daniel, I think, has referred to Henry and the scenes of the ski patrol as sort of the James Bond of the film. Great shots, high excitement, big sky, huge area. I mean, it's Whistler. I mean, this is an area that is just larger than life when you're there. And then to have these aerial scenes of, you know, ski patrol and Henry, you know, hanging from a helicopter, it's just amazing.
It really was. And I should preface all that, I mean, those are things that we do, but it doesn't happen every day.
Right.
But nevertheless, you have to train for it. You have to be ready for when the call does come, you can do these things, right? I've done lots of, you know, TV stuff, and, you know, every year, you know, somebody comes to town, a local TV program. So I have a little bit of experience with it, but what elevated me and Henry throughout this production is take 1, take 2, take 3, take 4. Like, I mean, that opening scene where you see Henry come up over the rise and then shake himself off in front of the black tusk, and then I walk up behind him. That was a result of probably 3 hours of work, just doing it over and over and over again. In fact, there's a funny story when we were doing some of the still photography stuff for the promotional material. We'd been in a hotel room with a green screen thing, and this was for the poster. All they were trying to capture was an image of Henry jumping, like, sort of off the page towards the viewer, right? We'd been working. We had done easily 50 takes of Henry on a box, jumping off on a box like this, right? And the photographer and I were getting to know each other. We'd, you know, done some work together previously on the project, and we were having a pretty good time. One of the producers walks in and goes, "So, how's things going, guys? You know, getting anywhere with this thing?" I goes, "Yeah, we got some good stuff here." So he goes, "Oh, that's great to hear." And he sort of stands here and scratches. He goes, "Well, I like what I'm seeing, but isn't Henry supposed to be wearing his uniform?" So the entire hour and a half had been like, okay, start over again.
Talk about what it takes to build that relationship where Henry trusts you, and, you know, it appears that the animal is perfectly at home in that getup underneath the helicopter.
Well, that's a result of, you know, like, literally, like, count the number of hours in his life, and virtually all of them are spent in my company. Like, we're virtually never apart. Like, I say this, and when I say it, I'm not bragging. I spend more time with the dog than I do with my own family. I have a wife and 2 kids that I love dearly, but the dog we're never apart. You know, he sleeps on a pad beside my bed, and when I wake up and my feet hit the ground in the morning, he's like, "Okay, Dad, what are we going to do today?" Right? And that's what it comes from. And then, obviously, there's more to it than that. There's the training, but the things that he gets exposed to. You sort of picture the dog that you want to have in the future, you know, the dog that you're developing, and you go, okay, I got to take baby steps to get myself there, right? So you don't just, you know, grab an 8-week-old puppy and stick him next to a helicopter. Having said that, you may take a 12-week-old puppy and take him near where helicopters are, a mile away, so that, you know, a year or 2 down the road, and you sort of slowly close that distance, you kind of go, yeah, helicopters, I'm cool with helicopters, right? Or, you know, snowmobiles, chair lifts, you know, riding, he rides in a toboggan, you know, pull him around the ski hill in a toboggan, stuff like that. These are all things that, again, using positive reward-based methods, he's kind of going, yeah, like, nothing to worry about here. It's me and Dad together in this thing, and good things come from Dad. And, you know, he seems to like the things that I do, so we'll just carry on.
What was it like the very first time you saw Superpower Dogs?
I was blown away. I was blown away. I couldn't believe that it turned out as well as it did. And seeing this incredible spectacle that is the IMAX production, and to see, you know, your dog or my dog on a screen that's 8 feet tall, it was amazing. Yeah. And the other thing that about this film in particular is that it takes you on this geographical journey around the world. I mean, it starts out in Whistler, so lots of snow, ice, white. Then you go to the Mediterranean, so blues and Then you go to Africa, lots of greens and, elephants and rhinoceroses and all that stuff. Then you go to San Diego and play in the surf with Ricochet, the surf rescue dog. It's amazing.
If we can get Henry to come back up on the couch one
Absolutely.
time,
Henry, come on up here. Yeah.
Before we wrap things up.
Henry, here. He's been packing this thing around all morning, telling me, "Dad, it's breakfast time. Would you feed me now?"
Yeah.
Hey, you good guy.
He seems like fame hasn't affected him.
No, he doesn't talk about it much. Sort of the production is behind him, and he's sort of ready to carry on with the next phase of his life. So you can see our stuff on Instagram. He's hashtag Henry Worcester Dog. On Facebook, I think he's just plain Henry. And you can also see Henry as a young dog on my YouTube channel, Star Dog Life.
Well, we'll make sure that we share all those links. And Ian, I want to thank you so much for your time. And Henry, thank you for appearing with us. And we would invite everybody to come to the Tennessee Aquarium IMAX Theater to check out Superpower Dogs and see Henry and Ian in action on the giant 6-story screen. Ian, thank you again so much.
So you're so welcome, and I hope your people do come out and see it. The film, and I'm not just saying this because my dog was in it. You'll walk out of that theater, and make sure you bring Kleenex. You'll walk out of that theater going, "I'm really glad I saw this film."